Hi, Samantha from Soul Pathways. Happy Sunday. I wasn't planning on coming on today. I really wasn't. But as I sat down and was trying to eat my dinner, I got a message, I got a message that I needed to do a video. So, here I am. Just, it's weird, you know, because I think every day is a good day to do something, but everybody deserves to have a day to rest. And I'm somebody who usually is, when I'm inspired. Now, I know that I've been consistently working towards recently making them with consistency in mind. But still, everybody needs to have at least a day or two, a moment where they have a day where they don't. Well, I was trying to do that, but it's okay, I guess. I just, I didn't really have anything planned to speak on today. I could really just share a little more of my story. So I'm Samantha Eagles, and I'm an Earth Angel and the chosen of the 144. I'm anointed. And check out video 2 if you want to know why you should even be watching these. I'm 50 this year, and I look like nothing of what I've been through. I know my sole purpose in this life. I'm a volunteer for this lifetime. I'm a walk-in volunteer. And I have a soul contract with Divine. He's my father, and I love him very much. He's why I'm here right now. Do practically anything for him. Yeah. Doesn't take much twisting on my arm. Anyways, I've been through a lot of things, and hands down, I mean, I know I've been through lifetimes of persecution. Yeah. I know I've been burned at the stake. This lifetime, the persecution was through gang stalking, and I'm just closing out that cycle. Being falsely accused for things, people trying to pin things on me. I mean, this is something I've been going through my whole life, targeted gang stalking. Since birth, things have not been right for me. Trauma, abuse. I'm finding out I could have been adopted, and I never was told. I'm somebody who had to overcome addiction issues, had to deal with body image issues, family, toxicity, abuses of every kind, neglect of every kind. You're looking at somebody who did all of those things and still had to deal with sexual abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and went to college, graduated high school with honors, graduated college with honors. I got a master's in counseling where I specialize in alternative medicine and therapies, where I focus primarily on the mind-body connection, so how our thoughts impact our being. Very interested in how our mind affects our body and our emotions, and how that's connected to the world. How does manifestation work? But also, how does that affect our health? How does that affect our finances? How does that impact our relationships? Then frequencies, how do those play a role? And because everything's energy. So, you know, I spent a long time, have certifications in law of attraction, coaching. Always been somebody who loved, like, all the metaphysicals. Everything metaphysical, I'm self-taught. I mean, I might as well have been born with just palmistry books and numerology books and astrology books, but still somebody who was deeply spiritual, loved God. And even though I went to church, I was made to go to church, I wasn't very religious. Admittedly so. But my firmest belief is that God is in everything. And He is. God is right in here. He's in me, and He's in you, and He's in the sky outside, and He's in the air we breathe, and He's in just everything. He's in the sound waves, the frequencies, because He created everything. And so, yeah, I might be different, but different isn't bad. It's not bad, it's just different. In fact, I'm coming to find out that different is pretty awesome. In fact, the universe loves different. The universe is all about expansion. And so different's pretty cool. And I think one of the things that the universe is opposed to is being stuck in little boxes. Wouldn't you think? If it does like expansion, the opposite would be minimization or restriction. So, or oppression. Nevertheless, you're looking at somebody who knows a lot about a lot of things. It used to be a little bit about a lot of things. And I guess in a lot of ways I guess that still holds true. I know a little bit about a lot of things, and there are some things I know nothing about, and I'm learning something new every day, and I love that. I am somebody who I'm an eternal student. I love learning and growing, and that's what we're supposed to be doing anyway. Growing and learning and staying youthful in our minds and expanding just like the universe. So, nevertheless, that's part of my story. While I was being, well, I won't even put it that way. While I was on this journey, which had a lot of hardships and abuse and trauma that I had to go through, at the same time, simultaneously, universe had me in school. So while I was suffering the sexual abuse, I was still going to school. And then while I was dealing with toxic parents or alcoholism, or homelessness, I was still in college. And I was still dealing with my internship, working 80-hour weeks. I had a 3-year-old, 2 alcoholic parents. I was homeless, and I never missed a day. Not one. Not one. And I made it. I made it through that. Still proud of that, because that was hard as hell. That was my Saturn return. I'm still thanking Saturn for getting me through that. I don't even know if I would have made it had it not been for Saturn. Yeah, that was tough. Crazy. But I had a real hard life, and I know I don't look nothing like it, but my anointing, it lies to the world. It says she doesn't know nothing, hasn't been through nothing. She's had a life just handed to her. But I've got a lot to give. I'm currently homeless, and though I know everything's temporary, and I'm at the tail end of a cycle and I'm moving into my new life, it's all part of my journey, and I'm meant to share the testimony. Because it's meant to help others. You see, if there is even just one person that I can help not suffer even remotely half as much as I did, I'm going to do it. Why? I made a promise. I made a promise to God, but also to myself. Multiple times. You see, I went through those things, and each time I did it alone. Nobody was there for me. I remember telling my dad, God, I fell through the cracks, Dad. Nobody's here. Nobody's helping. And I was talking about the government even. There aren't systems in place to help people like me and Chris. This was when I was homeless the first time. Because I was working so diligently to get me and him into a housing situation at that time. But because my domestic violence that I was experiencing wasn't from a romantic relationship, nobody would help me. It was coming from my father. And yes, I was still at home with my folks because I'm a single parent. And the long story on that is, it's tied into that adoption bit. I do believe there's another family involved here. And there's a lot of dark, underhanded, covert tactics being used to keep me held down expressively. And what it is they actually knew before I did what I was meant to do and who I was, what my destiny was. And they didn't want me to have that. In fact, I do believe they wanted to swap it. They wanted it for somebody else, either themselves or a daughter, somebody other than me. So they were using, dark art magic, dark occult magic against me to keep me in the dark of my own self, my own skill sets, my own gifts, so I wouldn't know who I was, what the extent of my ability was. I was never allowed to know where I came from. I still really don't. But I'm learning. And I'm 50. And if it wasn't for my father gifting me more and more and more skill sets all the time, and they're building on one another, and because of that, and I'm learning through just my own skill sets about my own self, because I've grown stronger than I think the magic that they originally put on me to begin with. That, and my father shared some things with me. Right out of the womb, my trauma started. And I sit here and I know I pause a lot, but I think about my life, and I just, the more I'm in this, the more I realize none of it was coincidental. My life was made hard on purpose for me. That's sad. And I forgive. But it's sad. And I do know that there is somebody out there who really expected to get my inheritance and my gifts and my destiny. And they're pretty angry right now that they're not even remotely getting it. I do know that there are people out there, regardless if it's conscious or unconscious, because that's the kind of creators we are. We're either conscious or unconscious creators. That these people are consciously or unconsciously doing this to me. I hold space and grace for that. Does it make it easier for me? No. But I still hold the space and grace for that, because it allows me to understand at least. It allows me to bring in forgiveness so I can heal my heart and move forward. I'm not perfect. I'm still human. I'm on a human journey. I'll admit, since the full moon, or the new moon, the energies have been crazy, and I've been being attacked. I'm not gonna lie, I've been having a lot of siphoning issues, energy siphoning issues. As a chosen child, it's not easy. People do unimaginable things to me, and they don't care. They don't. And even those people, I hold space and grace for. But I still say, it doesn't make it any easier for me. I still have to deal with the feeling of the siphoning, because I can feel it. And the constant distractions that they're trying to put in place so I don't move forward in my destiny. And I can feel the spell work, and I can sense when they're messing with me. And waking up with bruising. I have a little video. I woke up with bruising. It's been a minute too. I woke up with fingerprints on my legs. Right here today. I found them in the tub this morning. I have bruises on both legs, and I have on my arm. And I videotaped them this morning. I'll post it. I don't see why not. All done in the astrals. Spiritual warfare. When you're spiritual, you don't stop working. I'm working here, and my soul, when I sleep, works somewhere else. Astral projection is a real thing. So once I'm asleep here, my soul will leave, and I'm out helping other places. Well, obviously last night there was, and Divine already told me we won, but there was obviously an attack that happened, because I have fingerprints and bruising to prove it. And that's only happened 2 other times to me in years. Three times in these years that I've come away with bruises. And that tells me something about this time frame. You know what it says? I'm getting close. And they're getting desperate. Who's there? The opposition, obviously. Whoever doesn't want a chosen child of God to rise into their purpose, whoever's trying to, take a chosen child's destiny from her, whoever is giving away a chosen child via a secret adoption at birth. That's who. And I guess I'm pretty sure that's who's fighting me in the astrals as well. So I don't ever worry about this. I mean, here's the thing. Chosen child equals you may forge a weapon, but it will never prosper. Go ahead. Forge any plan you want. Forge away. Spend $1 billion forging whatever plan. Get everybody in this whole entire world to join you. And guess what? You're gonna fail. touch not my anointed. I have more than one anointing on me. Why would I have more than one anointing? Why would I be chosen? Why would I have a guardian angel who's an archangel? All good questions. I think it's more to do with what kind of purpose I have and who's out there, who you guys are, what I'm up against is what I'm saying. Not necessarily you, but if you know, you know. Because right now, I have people who are trying to shadow ban me and want me to believe that they're the only ones ever who will ever see me, and I'll never have a following ever, and they want me to believe that I'll never rise into anything. And that's just a bunch of baloney. Right? 2626, which is 88. Success. See, I always carry hope. It's a great weapon to have. I walk by faith and not by sight. I'm an optimist by nature. See, my chain even says hope right on it. Hope. I wear my infinity ring every single day. Infinity ring. Every day. I never take it off. I never knew why I liked the ring. I'm coming to find out why. It's tied to who I am, and it's very spiritual in nature. But if you flip that infinity on its side, it's an 8. Infinite success. Infinite abundance. Infinite power supply. People like my energy. You know, when I first started getting gang stalked, I noticed, and I have it on camera, video, a Mustang outside my window that had, it was being used as a power source. They wanted to see if I'd charge it up. No joke. It was a rigged test right in front of my window to see if I'd charged the Mustang. And I knew it, and I kept poking at it in various videos, but I never quite said it as I am right now. But I was pointing out that I knew that it was part of the gang stalking. Connection. Message. 2909. I have energy that grows things. It's like light and gold, the Midas touch. I don't know. I knew but didn't know that I had it growing up because I started noticing a pattern. I always left a mark on people. I just thought it was weird that people had a hard time letting go. But moreover, if people were around me a long time, they would do good. Like in life. Like, things would prosper for them. And then at any point they ever did me wrong, on their account, and we parted ways, they would lose out in the worst ways ever. Karma. I've watched multiples of people in my life go from having things to not having anything, unless they were stealing my energy. Witchcraft. Which is what happened with my family, who I left in 2022. They were hooking up with that friend from Facebook. I think there's a tie-in here between the family that adopted me and the people who stole my identity. Robert, my father, that was his name, seems to have a new SUV. I'm not going to say they didn't do well in life. And I would never wish them harm. It's not my forte anyways to do that. Nor would I want them to wish them ill either, because my mother was still with them at that time. I paid a lot of debt right after leaving. And I shouldn't have to. I mean, when I left covered in bruises because of that man. And I have that evidenced, as well as all the bruises from my mother that he put on her, that the doctor lied and said wasn't that way, but yet my mother and I talked, and she was very lucid, and she said, yes, it was. And I had actually heard my own father talk to my mom in ways I'd never heard my father talk to my mother. But he was drunk and high. So, I mean, I guess I had. They'd hit each other, too, so. My house was not a good house. There were things in my house that weren't worldly. I do believe this all came along from this family that sold me off as a baby. Hurts. I went through a lot of hurt. And I suppose I share any of it because, again, just one, if I could help, just one. Because in 2022, when there was the domestic violence, it wasn't, I was I was working through the state to take care of my mother and getting paid. It was so minuscule. I mean, I have a master's in counseling, and I was getting paid $10 an hour. Now I'm seeing stuff here, $2,000 a month to take care of your sick elderly parent. Yeah, okay. It almost feels like rubbing salt in a wound, because I was getting $10 an hour and being abused. Purposely is my feeling here. Because my father openly admitted that he was buying my mother alcohol because she was an adult, even though the doctors told her not to drink and had told him that she was terminal. And she was actually on medication that would make her ill. And I was picking that medication up from CVS for her. And I was handing out her medication. I was being approved through the state to give her her medication, and I was. And then I was having to go through their bedroom and seek out the fucking little bottles of wine because my father was allowing her to buy it with him in secret. Well, she is an adult. She's dying, Dad. Well, that's her choice then. Really. I'll never forget the Thanksgiving and the Christmas before, when I stood up in front of my whole family and I had words about alcohol in front of all of them. They didn't like that too much. Probably why in 2023 they secretly all formed an alliance against me and went to a court behind my back, included a fraudulent Dr. Ahmed, who lied on record about my mother and took guardianship of my mother. There's a lot of lies going on in that courtroom. A lot of fraudulent papers, a lot of defrauded stuff. Facts. Not sure why horns aren't honking now. Both my sister and my father. My kid is 8 years old, I think, at the time. Or something crazy. He's little. And they both go to him and said, well, thank your mother for you being homeless. Or some crazy shit. Who says that to a little kid? Who? When his mom's running around with bruises on her body because his grandfather literally laid his hands on her. And, not to mention, he and his mother both saw Grandpa throw himself across the room and then say, oh, you threw me across the room. Threatening me, basically. Saying, like, to say, I'm going to tell the police you just threw me across the room. That's how crazy my dad was. And that happened in my son's bedroom. Like, I could pick up my father. He was like 250 pounds. On a good day. But he is one man. I might have been frightened, but I still stood toe to fucking toe with that man and looked him square in his eyes. Knees knocking. You are not gonna fuck with me. I will have it out with you. I am somebody who has danced with the devil. You're not taking me down. Promise. You're talking to somebody who started getting molested at 6. Raped in her teens. My father threatened to kill me. I've been beat. I've been bloodied. Mentally, emotionally, physically abused, neglected, adopted, never told, made homeless multiple times. On purpose. Nobody helped me. People saw me too. Everybody hung money over my head. There were always little strings attached. And then people wonder, why don't you trust people? And it is something I'm working on. Because to stay soft and good, I need to work on it. And I'm doing a good job. I'm doing better than most. If it was you that went through the things I went through, do you think you would be where I'm at? Or do you think you would have done something very different? A lot of people would have probably bailed by now. I'm not a lot of people. I'm just me. And I am somebody. There's only one of me. One copy of me. One original of me. I'm an original blueprint in all the universe. And I have a soul contract with God that's big. I'm here to help. I'm helping the collective raise their frequency through helping them learn to heal themselves, removing blocks. I'm also to bring in love to help raise the frequency. Among other things, I'm a light worker. I see light. I transmute it. I can transmute practically anything. And do. I sometimes think it's pretty amazing that I can still dance around and giggle and have a good time as I do with as much stuff as I go through. Even today I went grocery shopping and still found myself getting bullied or harassed a little bit. But I have to recognize that that could still even be my own magnetization to me through my mindset, and I need to work on that. And I will. Because I'm that determined to get up in my life and rise. I won't even allow me to block me. You won't block me, but neither will I. In fact, I made a damn pact with my father, and I said, please don't forsake me, Dad. But I said, moreover, promise me, Dad, that you won't let me forsake me. Promise me that you will not let me down. Because I know me. And he made that promise with me. You're looking at somebody who just won't give up. So what does that mean? That I'm never going to miss it. Why? My dad's going to make sure of it. 4444 on the timer. That's protection. He's protecting me in every singular way. because I ensured it from the start. I'm even protected against my own self and my own shenanigans. I'm only human. But I want it that bad. And it isn't for me, folks. Remember, I keep having to remind, this is for God. This is for a world. This is a legacy. And I don't even see it as really my family legacy, but it is. When I see this legacy, this is I see the earth. And the way I see it is, I just keep saying, I've made it. I've done this. In spirit, this is done. This is done. I've made this. I'm doing this. I'm doing it. I'm in the midst of doing this. This is something that I am fated to complete. And I will. I am. I have. All at once. Which says to you, if you're still here, that you can do it too. No matter your hardship, no matter how far down you are, that there's a way back up. I'm proof at 4711, which is 1111, that you can get back up. And right there, that's the inspiration. And now I'm hearing the song, you're the inspiration. Chicago, right? Maybe you're from Chicago. Who knows? Windy City. Nevertheless, I think I'm going to close it out there. I know it's shorter, but it's Sunday. I love you. And you take care. Where there's a will, there's a way. Perspective is everything. If you can see it here, you can have it here. How you look at a thing, whatever that thing is, how you look at it, will determine a lot about how, if you can have it. Regardless. And if how you're viewing something isn't quite positive, you need to understand why that is and shift it. And I can help with that. I've gotten real good over the years at doing that. Even now. I'm still doing it. I was doing it this morning in the tub. Ask God. I mean, I'm constantly working. It's like, it's a never-ending process for me, but when you want something so bad, when's enough enough? The answer should be never. There's never enough. There's never a stop. I love you. May blessings flow to you and through you. And always, always. Be well. Till next time. Bye.